we're live. It's 8 o'clock on the 12th of June, 2026. And we're bringing our news and views to you so that we can keep you all up to date with what's going on in the world of home education right now. So let's crack on. So what we're looking at first. Oh, yes, of course.
Crowdfunder first.
Yeah, the crowdfunder. Remember, this is the crowdfunder for the first of what we're... Look
at that.
It's over 30,000. Way! Go, everybody. Yep. High five. It's got over to 30,000. So we got to the next stretch target, haven't we? This is how these things work. You know, you have a target and then you have another target. You know, we need to raise quite a lot of money to run a judicial review. It's absolutely brilliant that we've got to the 30,000. The 30,000 means that the discussions can be had with the King's Counsellor, the KC, in order to start putting the more flesh on the bones of this. So that's terrific. Keep going, you know. Anything to say about that, Kat?
If you've got a spare fiver, please donate it. If you don't have a spare fiver to donate, please share it. Whatever you want. Doesn't matter. This affects every family, not just the home educators. So let's go. Yeah,
it does. It does. Okay, what's next?
Next. Oh, this is a fun one. Wide AI rollout, because it's zoomed in so you guys can see.
Yeah, the important word there, the important phrase there is the AI. That's absolutely the scary bit. They're going to use two products to gather data from many disparate places that they've already got data, allegedly turn their messy and unstructured data into an accurate, trusted record. Just to remind folks, AI, it has hallucinations. An AI hallucination is when the AI gets it wrong and makes stuff up. Okay?
Yep.
Of a better way of putting it, in very much layman's terms, that's what happens. So that's, for example, you know, we see people using AI. They might come on the action group and they might say, oh, I've used AI to analyze the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Act, and this is what it says. And we look at it and we go, no, that's a load of garbage. That doesn't make any sense.
It's not the fault of the poster, though. It's the AI. And, you know, there are really, really good uses of AI. But, you know, there's a lot of things where it's not ready, it's not safe, and they should be absolutely holding off until there's far more testing. Children in the UK should not be the guinea pigs for this stuff. Well, children anywhere shouldn't be guinea pigs for this.
And I mean, I use AI an awful lot. I never used AI last year. I use it an awful lot now. But I use it to augment my own work, not to do it instead of me. And the thing about AI is, and just to reiterate, it's not the problem of the person that tried to use the AI to look at the bill. Please do not take offense at that. We're talking about the way AI works and the way that people have been led to trust it in a way that is not correct. AI always needs a check. I use AI to do minutes of meetings that I chair or that I am secretary of sometimes. I always have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb afterwards. You can't just trust it. You can't just publish what the machine has produced. So there's no evidence here of a team of actual human beings that are going to check that the records are correct. So they're going to trust the AI to find all the messy information, clean it up, and produce something, and then make action plans as a result of it. Now, the other thing we have to always remember when we're looking at data sharing, because this includes data sharing, obviously the data sharing is happening in order for the AI to gather the information. What we have to also remember is that they always forget to put a human being in front of it, and also to have a method by which you can correct your record.
Yes, you know? Yes, that is quite a big thing that just isn't getting mentioned in all these rollouts of AIs over various services.
And AI,
there's just a lack of safety.
Yeah, lack of safety. And also, I do think as well that I'm not seeing that they've done a pilot project here. What I'm seeing is that they're just rolling it out.
This is the pilot project. Yeah, this does seem to be the pilot project, but without saying so.
well, if it was a pilot project, they would only do it on a portion of the population.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do it on the whole.
Well, yeah, it appears to be 4 councils in Wales, but even then, I mean, maybe there's more information in the council minutes and things, but it does not seem to be well thought out.
No, I wouldn't want to do it on a. So my husband was a chemical engineer, and they use pilot projects all the time in chemical engineering because you don't want to roll something out big before you've piloted it. A pilot project in this case would have taken a portion of a council because you'd want to compare like with like. You'd want to see whether your new system worked better than your old system by having them
Absolutely, yeah.
side by side. They're not doing this. They're just rolling it out wholesale. That's not how it works.
Absolutely.
It's not how it works. I find this quite terrifying, actually. You know, and yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, and it reminds me of a call for evidence recently that the DFE ran. Now, obviously, this is covering England. The previous story was covering Wales, but they asked local authorities how are they using AI within children's services, and report it back to them. There is no central list that the DFE have given local authorities saying this is a good tool, this is a safe tool, this meets all our compliance and everything else. Local authorities have just been left to go at it, and then they were telling the DFE later. This consultation closed back in May and there hasn't been a response to it yet, but it'll be interesting to see the outcome of that.
I think every social services department uses it to help write reports. I've spotted massive mistakes in many reports. They become quite generic if the AI isn't used well. We don't know how much decision making is also being made. So they're having report writing, they're having analysis, and they're possibly having some decision making as well done through AI. And again, no government guidance. And the government guidance, when it does come out, we hope it comes out, when it does come out, should also include, and these are the systems you need to put in place around the AI to ensure its safety. We're just running headlong into disaster as far as I'm sorry to be depressed, folks, but you need to keep an eye on this stuff.
Well, I think you remember what's coming in the next tab, which just really does not help the depression, does it? But
no, it doesn't. Sorry, folks. And the police as well. The police are using it too. You know, it's just well, I don't know whether you remember, not so long back, they introduced the facial recognition in Croydon, the cameras.
Yep. They've been rolling it out even further,
Yeah, and there've been quite a lot of false positives and unlawful arrests made as a result. It's quite terrifying.
And I noticed they're not making a big hoo-ha about the accuracy of the systems now that they've been rolled out for a few months.
No. I don't know.
Quiet.
I don't know who's policing the police on this, if you will.
I seem to remember there was an AI system to look at whether the individual police officers were behaving badly, and that had a lot of false positives. Anyway, different story.
Make it hurt for them, and then they might go, oh!
Yep, but it's absolutely fine for the rest of us. Absolutely.
Frightening, isn't it?
Yep.
Frightening.
And of course, all these links will be in Substack on Monday morning.
So I just
what have we got?
There were some films in the 1990s where they would predict that somebody would commit a crime and then incarcerate them before they'd committed the crime.
Heading that way, it would seem.
Yeah, it does feel like that, doesn't it?
It does. And yes, bright hopes for digital ID in the future, of course, where senior leaders from business and civil society are being brought in to support the government to deliver a digital ID system that works for the public.
Right. So, firstly, number one, digital ID is not for the public, is it? It's for the bureaucrats,
not at all,
because it's to make their lives easier and cheap and to reduce the cost to the public purse. But Kat and I were looking at the people that have been brought onto the advisory group. Let's have a look at them. So we've got
absolutely.
So he's the CEO of Pearson. Pearson own the Pearson Publishing House, but they also own edXL, the examining board. Okay. Yep. Then we've got the co-founder of a social enterprise dedicated to inspiring people to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and maths. just
not sure the relevance to digital ID, but okay.
She's probably a great person, runs a fantastic social enterprise, but I'm not quite sure what her expertise is here. Cybersecurity expert, I'm in for that. That's great. Good to have a cybersecurity expert.
That seems good.
Yep. Co-founder of the Interparliamentary Forum on Emerging Technologies.
Can understand that one too.
I get that one. I get having Emma there. But then Justine Roberts, founder and chief and executive chair of Gossip and Bullying Central. You know, disclaimer, my personal opinion is my personal opinion. I have been burned by Mumsnet in the past, just saying. And then somebody from Australia.
Who's also the co-founder of a think tank.
Yeah.
Love those think tanks, don't we? This is our external scrutiny, according to this article. The advisory group will meet quarterly for the duration of the digital ID programme to provide external scrutiny and strategic insight. And will challenge the government on emerging ideas or policy decisions to ensure the system works for everyone.
It's not
Mumsnet.
It's not really. I think we need to keep an eye on this one. See what happens. I hope that their quarterly meetings produce a quarterly report that we can read, and not that all this stays very much behind closed doors.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We have, I think this was the story we spoke about last week, though it might have been a different Welsh LA. But
yeah. Okay, so
we're getting alarmed this time.
Yeah, but if you actually read the article, it's quite a good article. So there's the usual guff where some counsellor goes, "Oh, but what about academic achievement? What about social skills?" But moving quickly past that, and bear in mind, these are the counsellors, and they're not the people that work at the local authority. They go, as well as their educational attainment, there's all the social side and other things children get from schools. We don't need to talk about the crappy social skills children get from schools, but if we scroll down, we actually see that they had quite a good conversation, and it feels like that this is a council that's finally taking this seriously. They're actually saying that the children may be unable to cope in school. We have to understand why they're not coping, and they've set up a group with commitments from the Youth Intervention Service, Welfare Service, EOTAS, CAMS, schools, parents and children. So the whole cohort, all of them, all of the services and the stakeholders. And they are going to have a decent discussion. I'm hoping that they become very brave as a result of this. We need somewhere to start being brave, to start sticking their heads above the parapet, who are in the school system, that person to stand up and say school is not currently fit for purpose. We are damaging children and we need to stop that right now. We need to change it, because this rise in home education is not the result of parents who, like me, from the beginning said, I would like to home educate my child because it's what I think would be best for my child. These are refugees from school. This is people whose children have been damaged by their experience at school or with services related to school.
It does look like the counsellor here was really, really close to getting it. Because the question we want them to ask is, why are the children being withdrawn from school? It is always framed, why are the home ed numbers so terribly, terribly high? And it's not that. Was it Staffordshire last week? They actually published in their counsellor's report how many children were home educated that had never been to school, and it was a very small fraction. We need more councils doing that, because the DfE aren't. The DfE don't care to publish that information. They could work it out if they chose to. They don't.
Absolutely. So I think this is interesting. So look, see, there's an issue around the capacity of secondary schools to deliver, in particular to children who find the school environment difficult, and that's the resource issue. Well, we know it's not necessarily a resource issue. It's an attitude issue, is it not? And it's a systemic issue as well. If we're making school uniform more important than being emotionally and physically ready to learn in the day, then there is something very wrong. The priorities are wrong. If we're stopping children going to the toilet because we want control, or we're not letting them take their jumpers off when they get warm, how are you ever going to learn how to be a grown-up if you're not allowed to decide for yourself that you're too warm? Anyway, this is just
the BBC also covered it as well. It's appeared in a few papers, but they write up different bits of the meeting. So if finding the notes for all of the meeting is too much, which they don't make it easy anyway, read a couple of reports and it kind of covers a lot of what was going on. Where we got Plymouth and the FOI scandal, but it's made it to the register.
We quite like this news outlet, don't we? Because they seem to be taking an interest in this and they're putting two and two together.
The register is more technology news, but it does appear that they've been reporting on data breaches and things. So it's nice that a more mainstream source has picked this up. And I believe it might be someone from the action group or maybe someone from the local group, but somebody contacted them to let them know. Fantastic. Thank you very much, because this really needs to get more eyes on it.
Yes, it does. We know, and I think you discussed last week that this had happened, that the 500 odd home educating families were all their email addresses were put in the CC line instead of the BCC line, and instead of the blind copy line. And then the register have gone, and this blunder comes barely a week after the City of York Council disclosed a similar mistake. We're getting these reports every single week. How on earth can we trust local authorities with our data if they can't even get a simple email right?
And I think the exact number was 418, I believe. Possibly. But, about 500, it's a good number for the register to report on. And they didn't get a comment back from Plymouth, but the council has also reported the matter to the ICO themselves. They haven't tried to brush it under the carpet like many local authorities tried to do when they say, oh, no, we've contained the email data breach. It's like, really?
They actually have a legal duty to self-report. Some of them don't understand that they have that legal duty. When their data control officers get hold of the information, they go absolutely ballistic with them. Right.
Where have we got to? Oh, this was an interesting FOI, which Fiona from Ed Yourself has written up quite a nice way. She's good at getting these into a form that's a bit easier to understand than 27 different PDF documents that they like to supply us with. So this is an FOI request that covers a few years of correspondence between the DfE and Portsmouth. I suspect there isn't anyone watching that isn't familiar with what goes on in Portsmouth, so we won't cover that again. But education should not be deemed unsuitable purely because examples of work have not been provided. We know the problems there. Fiona's done a good write-up of it. You can follow the relevant emails through. And leave Fiona some love because she does so much good work for the home ed community, getting all these things written up and out there.
She's like a dog with a bone with something like this, and we need people like that to do these kinds of jobs. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So again, it just shows that repeatedly, time and time again, they've been told that they're doing too much. They're being too,
So the DfE does know. Well, what they choose to do is a different matter.
I think Portsmouth get mentioned on every single one of my monthly meetings.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
Yep. It's fear right now because they're merging the councils, aren't they? They're producing a unitary authority down there, and they're going to have Hampshire in. And the people in Hampshire are a bit worried that the Portsmouth anti-home education disease is going to infect Hampshire. And Hampshire's always had a good relationship with home educators. So that would be, there we go.
Anyway, moving on. We have a very short call for evidence on the use of screen time, basically, and screen use.
So this isn't public consultation. What we need here is anybody who's got any academic or survey data or anything like that, we really need them to get in touch with it. There's about 3 weeks to do it. It closes in 3 weeks. The important thing is that we know that we have a large cohort who require screen time for self-regulation. So
and communication as well.
And communication.
Yep. And that's not being considered. And that's especially scary when you've got nonverbal children who use AAC tools and the government are going, well, I mean, we might put a curfew on certain services that we're not specifying which ones they are. And it's just like, you're going to take away my child's voice. What the hell do you think you're doing?
Yeah, and we also have a cohort who require the use of screens in order to have any social life whatsoever. We have quite a few shut-in children in our population these days, children who've been damaged by society or school or whatever, and are really, really finding it tricky to navigate the public outside of the house, and actually creating social opportunities within things like Discord or online gaming and things like that. Absolutely vitally important to those children. And this one size fits nobody attitude. I mean, this is supposed to do two things. It's supposed to reduce cyberbullying, and it's also supposed to improve children's lives, because they do spend too much time in front of this. You know, how many times do you see somebody out with an 18-month-old child and they're a bit bored in the cafe? They're strapped into their pushchair like this while mum's having a nice cappuccino and a chat, and the kid's going, I'm bored, and she just hands the kid her phone, you know? It's about that stuff, that nonsense. That's what this is about. It shouldn't be about the children who need a bit more screen time or whatever, or find it very regulating or use it for social purposes. And at the end of the day, our children quite often get to choose their own timetable. They get to choose their own wake-up times and bedtimes, don't they, Kat? Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. So off we go.
Yep.
So if you can answer that at all, that would be absolutely brilliant. If you've got a personal story to tell, that is also evidence. Okay, so we're not looking.
I'm not sure if they'll take it here, but we can try. We can absolutely try.
Yeah, you can try.
I have forgotten what's next now. Of course, the information sharing duty guidance consultation. Now, it's not actually that far away, is it? We've got about a month before this closes. It's been quite a short consultation. Yeah. I did it last week and the week before, but just to keep it in mind.
4.5 weeks we've got. We'll see if we can do a run through of it in a week or so that people have an idea of how to do it. This is the information sharing duty introduced in the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Act. That's stuff that's in part 1 of the Act that talks about information sharing. It's really, really important that we tackle that. Talk about keeping data safe, which clearly, you know, City of York and Plymouth has demonstrated
Plymouth.
that they absolutely cannot. Yes, and many more before them. Anyway,
more data to share for them. Yeah, this one's a consultation, which is assisted software funded through Disabled Students' Loans. Obviously, there might be a lot of families affected by this either now or in the future, and just want to draw your attention that this closes on the 18th of June. Yeah. And I think that is all of our things.
Well, just another reminder that the crowdfunder, we still need to continue to collect money. So we're at 31,211. That's absolutely.
I'll reload it and see if. Oh, have you donated one? No, no one donated. Okay, but I'm sure you've all donated already, and you're going to go and share this.
Yeah,
definitely going to go and share this.
Yeah, go.
And of course, you can find so many posts on the Fix the Children's and Wellbeing Skills Act. I'll get my words together. Page. There's so many posts there that you can share, and you'll definitely be able to find this and share it on.
Absolutely.
So
and,
please do
without. If you're a Starbucks coffee addict, do without it one day and give the money to this. There you go. There's a way of making it relatively painless.
Yeah. But I think that is all our news and things for today. We haven't got any questions in the comments, so all good. No, all the links will be on Substack first thing Monday morning. And we will probably see you next Friday.
Almost certainly. See you next Friday, folks.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.